Hello and welcome to another episode of Cascadia Mountain Weather. My name's Kyle McCrowan here with Wyatt Mullen, and after a stormy period, we're looking at a pretty calm and nice weekend. Where's this photo taken from, Wyatt?
Yeah, so this photo was taken last Friday up at Hurricane Ridge. So looking out into Olympic, the heart of Olympic National Park. And, kind of interesting to look. You can see in the lower left-hand corner, pretty low snow still, but maybe there were people skiing up there. I don't know if I would have skied. It looked pretty shark infested, but something to watch out for.
Yeah.
So as Kyle mentioned, we just got through pretty stormy period, saw quite a bit of precipitation, kind of 200 to 300% of average, honestly, for much of the area, and was quite rainy. But now we are kind of going into this nationwide torch. We've been above average for a couple days now, and it looks like that will continue. Temperatures maybe around about 5 degrees above average, maybe a little bit more in the 50s. And that's really happening all across the nation, which is somewhat characteristic of an El Nino pattern. No real cold air to speak of anywhere in the country, but that could change in the next couple weeks. So this was the snow totals ending at Monday. So this was during when the snow levels were pretty low, that we started out cold last week, and then snow levels rose all the way up to about 5,000 or 6,000 feet. And so a lot of areas picked up some rain. So you can see the highest elevations picked up the most, kind of that 1 to 2 feet of snow, maybe a little bit of more. And even the low elevations got some before it probably mostly melted out with the rain. And then we also had a little kind of extra push of snow, especially in the areas last night, where Baker ended up getting about 5 inches. In the North Cascades got a freshening up. Most other areas just got a bit of skiff of snow, maybe an inch or two. So not going to be great powder skiing, but there is a bit of fresh snow out there. Looking for this weekend, it's mostly going to be dry. There's the chance of we'll get this up to tonight. There's a chance of some light showers moving through overnight tonight into tomorrow, especially the North Cascades. But basically after that, we're not going to see anything until late on Sunday. There might be some more showers moving through. Cloud cover, just in case you're looking for that sun. Friday is going to be maybe some high clouds, but not too thick. Saturday will also have some high clouds moving through, and then it's going to clear out. And Sunday morning, we're going to, and like most of the day Sunday, we're going to have pretty clear skies before those clouds start to increase, with that chance of showers moving in late on Sunday. And then freezing levels, we are going into, like I said, a pretty warm pattern. So we are going to see those freezing levels bump up. We'll have a minor inversion set up again. So going up above 6,000, 7,000, 8,000, maybe even 9,000 feet. So just be aware of that. In terms of temperatures, that means that we're probably going to see 30s and 40s across most of the area in the higher elevations, like 40s down low, and then maybe mid 30s up at 5,000, 6,000 feet. And then perhaps the biggest weather story of the weekend is going to be maybe a little bit of wind moving through, like Friday night, and then Sunday during the day. We might see some easterlies pick up as the next storm approaches, especially kind of on the highest ridges. So just be aware of that, kind of 20 to 30 miles an hour. You might not be super comfortable to spend a long time at the summits, but should be decent otherwise.
This is a map showing the current snow depth. So there's probably not really anything below 2,000. You're going to start to see consistent snow maybe on southern aspects, 3,000 to 4,000 feet, maybe below 3,000 feet on northern aspects. But you can see it increases pretty rapidly with depth. And that's what I think something you'll find. You'll transition from dry trail or dry road to pretty deep, solid snowpack, probably within 500 to 1,000 feet, somewhere in that 3 to 4K range. This is our current snowpack as a percentage median for the state. After last week, we got a little better, up to 80, 85%, maybe in the Central Cascades, less than the Olympics, maybe less than the Southern Cascades. So still definitely below average, below median, but not the worst. Unfortunately, we're not getting much fresh snow in the next week or so. So we're probably going to fall behind a little more. This is just looking at different ski areas. You can see there's a big increase in depth by elevation. Snoqualmie Pass up to 27 inches. They were able to open Summit West thanks to quite a bit of snow in the last 7 days. But look up at Paradise, almost 60 inches. Washington Pass, even though it's kind of on the drier side of the Cascades, 40 inches. So quite a bit more over there. This is the Mount Baker telemetry, and we just want to highlight that it's above freezing at 4,000 feet there. So the conditions have been pretty warm, rather consistent, not varying a ton during the day, but it's definitely warmer than average. This is the NWAC forecast for Friday, and you can expect similar conditions probably on Saturday. Most areas are green, and that's due to the recent warm temperatures at the end of the storm. And then now we've kind of gone back into more medium temperatures. So that represents how the snow is very consolidated, and it means that less things are moving around. The yellow section, moderate, that's representative of the fresh snow that's been received in the northern areas. So there's maybe, up to 6 inches in certain places from last night. And so they're highlighting wind slabs and other concerns like that. This is a picture from NWAC of the Baker backcountry. You can see the snow is shiny. So that's a really strong crust. And that results from kind of melt water in the snowpack, warmer temperatures, because the snowpack got rained on below about 6,500 feet at the end of the last storm, and then it froze. So that crust, that's what's producing that lower avalanche danger, but it also can make for tricky backcountry conditions if you're on skis. It can be harder to get your skins to grip. Skiing down can feel sketchy. So it's certainly going to be a beautiful weekend to get out, but consider that, the actual ski conditions might be tough. Now, if you're not a skier, it's actually a great weekend. Snowshoeing, it's probably going to be great conditions for that. You probably want the snowshoes that have the teeth that can grip a little better. Not totally sure if the snow is going to be very boot supportable without flotation, but it's going to be a beautiful weekend to get up high and potentially enjoy the alpine. One tool we wanted to highlight here is the Caltopo. This is the sun shading. So the areas in dark are areas that receive no sun at this time of year. So it's an average of throughout the day. You can actually also toggle through different times in the day if you want. And the sun makes a big impact on how both you feel and also what the snow does. And even though the ambient temperatures are going to be above freezing at Artist Point, 5,000 feet this weekend, if you're in the shade, I wouldn't really expect the snow to soften, because if it's 38 degrees but doesn't get direct sun input, it's probably not going to soften much. And you'll find vastly different conditions where the sun is hitting it and maybe that crust breaks down.
Yeah, so going forward, it looks like it's going to be pretty warm across most of the country, as I was mentioning. There's not really, it looks like maybe in a week or two, we might start to see storms returning. Right now, even going 10 days out, there's nothing to suggest that there's going to be a lot of precipitation coming in or a lot of new snow. But we might get a couple inches here and there. And temperatures, look like they are going to remain pretty warm as far as we can tell, maybe kind of in this pattern of 50s down low and maybe slightly above freezing up high. So hopefully by the end of the month, we will transition into more stormy, snowy pattern.
Well, thank you to everyone for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please subscribe, and we'll see you next week.